Okay, give me just a moment here. Okay. What I would like to speak to us about today, everybody about today, is we may not notice it's a law, but obviously everyone has to return to the Creator. And in that sense, it makes it something that has to take place. And there are things that has been set up in order to bring everybody back. As the scripture says, all Israel will be saved. But it's not just talking about the children of Israel. There's a plan, and all Israel is speaking of all of Yahweh's creation. Okay? Now, the secret that Yahweh has put together, though, is the plan is to spread the seed that he was going to use into all nations. Okay? That's why Abraham, part of his blessing was that, his seed will bless all these nations. One of the reasons is because they're going to be going into those nations. Well, in the physical sense, Abraham had different children, and Abraham sent some of his children away into another land and kept them away from the son that the promise was going to come through. But if you remember, as that son's genealogy came down, there was also a split. There was a split in the children of Israel, okay, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. That was also a split. Now, the northern kingdom then got scattered, if you remember, into all these nations. So that's just Abraham's seed now, going to all these different nations, okay, and they lost themselves. They called them the lost tribes of Israel. However, in the plan, they were going to be called back out, but something was in the bloodline, and this was going to be a spirit is in the blood also, okay, because life is in the blood. This is part of the spirit. So all these were going to be called back out, a certain amount, a tenth. This tenth was going to be the ones who would be redeemed from among men. Therefore, they would actually receive the sonship first of returning back to where they fell from. But then they would be the ones who would be considered the new heavens and the new earth, because those who are running things right now in that area that they will be taking over, these are the individuals who are considered, some of the ones that you're wrestling with, because you're not wrestling against flesh and blood, principalities and powers in high places, and some of these powers that's in high places are actually those who keep those who are in the earth, who have a mind to want to move in a negative way. It uses them to actually test you and I. So we have the sons who are going to be redeemed. Then we have those who they're going to actually direct in the earth, because now they're the new heavens, if you will, and those who are in the earth getting their instructions are going to be new earth. Okay, so this is a spiritual part of it, because they're going to be new heavens and new earth also physically, because they're going to be the same thing. It's just like after Noah's time, you had different things going on in the earth. At this time, you're going to be the same kind of thing, but there's a different spirit that's in control. Now, after that, there's going to be a certain time period they call 1,000 years, and after that, the other guys are going to have to come on board. So this is a plan for everyone, all of Israel, and Israel is representative of everyone. That's what it's representing. So everyone has to come to the Father at some point. Okay, just when we come to the Father. Now, in coming to the Father, the Father has to initiate us back into the family. Now, outside of our fall, as spirits, there is no death for us, and we understand a lot more when we're outside the body than when we're in it. However, we have to come to a place that we put together a body, or we do certain things in a body that we could have consciousness when we come on this planet. We could have pure consciousness, and it's not broken. So we're initiated into a sonship while we have been, I don't want to say cast down, but while we have come through the portal onto this planet, we have to gain sonship, if you will. And it's called The Father is actually initiating us. Now, today you have all these secret societies, and these secret societies initiate their members into certain privileged information, if you will. Heard by the power of Yahweh, Yahweh does the very same thing. It's just what we allow ourselves to open ourselves to. Okay, because once you start to cleanse, you start to receive information. Because the thing that's keeping us away from the information is a clogged up conduit. That's all it is. The area that moves the Spirit of Yahweh coming through to us, we have blockages within ourselves. And the energy doesn't flow. And because the energy doesn't flow, we don't get the information. And that's all that we have spiritually. That's all that's really going on. So in this law of initiation into sonship again, or into citizenship, I went to the dictionary to look up what initiate means and initiated. And in it, I'm going to read some of the definitions to you, okay? It says to introduce a new field, interest, skill, or activity, okay? That's part of, the initiation that Yahweh is dealing with. Because remember, Yahweh is our Redeemer, but we have fallen into a place, so things have to be introduced to us incrementally to bring us out of this pit that we have fallen into, okay? So just how a child grows up, the child doesn't get everything in one day or everything in 1 week or 1 year. It's no different with us in our spiritual journey because we're spiritual children. So another definition is to admit someone into membership. This is what the secret societies do, okay? As with a ritual or ceremony. This happens. Now, Moshe, if you remember, guys, Moshe also initiated the children of Israel into the citizenship of Israel. Do you remember that? Okay? Through blood sacrifices. Remember that. He initiated them through ceremonies and rituals. That's how he got them into that. But this is all physical things, and of course, you have societies who does the same thing today, whether you're the Rosicrucian, those of the Rose Cross, Masons, Freemasonry, you have those other guys, the Illuminati. You have a whole slew of secret societies, and they do the same thing by rituals. And as you move it along in their little scheme of rituals, they introduce you to new fields of information and activities that they do. It's not the same thing. It's just like a child growing up. Okay? The child today knows, in the first grade, knows how to do certain math problems. In second grade, it's a little bit more. Third grade, they got a little bit more. Well, in the same manner, these secret societies do the same thing, but Yahweh does the same thing. Yahweh doesn't give you all at once. He gives you a little bit at a time and to bring you to Him. Okay? And based upon how much we apply ourselves, here comes the Spirit of Yahweh to direct us even further. Based upon how willing we are, we want to be in following His instructions, because that's what cleansing is about. Okay? You tell your child to go into the bathroom and take a shower, and he goes in there and he washes his hands. He doesn't take a shower. So guess what? He comes out dirty again. It's not all done. So now you got to tell him again, because the job is still not done. Well, this is our Father. If we listen to the instructions to become clean, then He knows, and we're clean, and obviously certain things are happening because we're being opened up. Okay? If we go into the bathroom and just wash our hands, well, that's also known because we still have dirt. We're still clogged. And whatever is there, it just simply can't happen because it's a fact of nature. Okay? It's nature, but it's a spiritual part of nature. Okay, so now I'm going to read another definition of initiation, or initiate, okay? It says, initiated or admitted as a member or a position of authority. If you remember, the president is initiated. Actually, the inauguration of the president, guys, is an initiation. It's an initiation into a position of authority. Well, you fell from a position of authority. Okay? Yahshua when he was young, he didn't have the powers and authorities that he had after he got baptized. Okay, remember that? And he started doing all those things that he was doing, all they called miracles, but it's just where he was. He had power. He had the power to control his spirit and function with that spirit, with the only begotten Son, and he was able to do all these things around everyone because of what he was open to at that time. This is where Yahshua actually came to. So he was initiated into an authority. He says, all authority has been given to me in heaven and earth. Okay? He got initiated into that. He didn't get it all at once, guys. Okay? Remember, he came to Yachanan the Immerser, or John the Baptist, they call him, and he said, now it's time to fulfill all righteousness. And John was like, man, listen, man, you should baptize with me. You come to me. And he goes, permit it now. Permit this to happen. So there's a certain time that this final part of what he was doing, actually wasn't even the final part, but another part of what he was doing was coming into effect. But it didn't come into effect up until he was 33 and a half years old, if you really think about it. Okay, because he was a child at one point. All of that didn't come together. He went through the initiation of life to come to his Father, and your Father and my Father is telling us the same thing. We could be initiated in the same manner because there's an example that came and was left for us, and it's the same example that we come to in order to get ours done. Okay? So we don't need the secret societies to get it. We don't need that. Okay? They're going to go to certain ceremonies and rituals, whatever the case is. Well, you could go through ceremonies and rituals. They ain't going to stop you from, they may assist you in certain areas, but your Father has set up for you in spirit. Okay? And things that we have to do, we have to believe this. Okay? Believe this. And believe what is in you. You have to believe this because everything that's going to take place in your initiation is going to come as a result of spirit and truth. Okay? Your spirit applied to the truth that your Father has set down. And this is the law that he has in the universe, period, for everyone. When you're opened up to these different aspects of the law, which is not just what Moshe showed, because Moshe is telling you of the physical thing. That's why Moshe went through ceremonies. He was showing them a pattern of what is. Now, those ceremonies still commanded spirits. They still commanded elementals. Lower elementals, though, because that's where the children of Israel, they wouldn't allow themselves to go any higher than that. So you couldn't put something, new wineskins into this old stuff because it would mess them up. So the children of Israel were in a certain place, so he couldn't go and get the premium stuff to them. He had to give them these lower elementals, okay, that came around when there was blood that was sacrificed or blood that was shed. That's when they came. And they came to protect Israel because what Moshe did, he spoke certain words and incantated them. And when he did that, he sprinkled everything upon the children of Israel. The children of Israel agreed to whatever he was saying, all that Yahweh said we will do, and that was pronounced upon all of them. They agreed it, and they were locked into that by elementals. Now, that's by a law of Moshe. However, we had someone that Moshe said, this person is going to come. This is the one that you ought to listen to. Now, this one is showing you certain things. You go and look at Matthew 5, 6, 7, and you're going to see some things that this individual is saying. He's not telling you to get rid of Moshe. He's telling you it's time for graduation to the sons of Yahweh, to get you back where you fell from. Okay, this is an initiation. It's another aspect. Okay, so we go a little further now. I'm going to read some more definitions to you. It says, introduced to something new, such as a new field of knowledge, one who is being or has been initiated into an organization. But remember, citizenship or sonship, a family, your star family, it's all part of getting you back in there. Okay? One who has been introduced to or has attained some knowledge in a particular field. This is what it's all about. Now, the thing about it is, guys, we don't like our initiation. Because remember, we talked about that angel or Malik that guards the way back to the garden. Well, that Malik is there as an initiator. Trust me, he's helping us to get back in. The only problem is we can't go in with garbage. So he has to make sure all that stuff is cut away. So that individual, okay, or that army, if you will, is going to try you and I. That's why there has to be fire on the altar. Moshe said their fire must always be burning on the altar. The altar is the earth. That's the symbol of it, or one of the symbols of it, the earth. And fire is your trials that helps you to be brought to your Father. Your Father wants you again to function as a son. So every son he receives, he's going to bring them through this fire, this initiation, and it's pretty much a spanking because we don't like to go that way. So he calls it, the scriptures call it, every son he receives, he scourges, he disciplines, because this is what has to take place, okay? But it's part of this initiation that is going on. So it's common now. So if it's common, we got to expect it. So we got to expect periods of this initiation, or that the periods when we feel the effects of this initiation. Okay. Now there are times that we're actually learning before everything is going to come together. We go to this area of learning that things seem to be not going too well. It's going off course, and but your Father is actually using those things to bring us where we need to. Now, I can't tell you where a person needs to be, because some people may need a little bit of patience here. Some people may need a little bit of courage there, whatever the situation is, but the Father is bringing everyone where they could actually get the strength that they need to move. But this is an initiation. But when they finally get it, things are opened up, or that door is opened up. It's not the final door, but it's a door that's opened up, and then you move to the next door, or the next grade, if you will. So all of us receives challenges in this life. That's what we do. This life is full of challenges. Even when you're on the right path, guys, so don't feel bad, we have challenges. And if we move off to the wrong path, there's going to be challenges too, because everything has to come to balance, and we're not in that area. Okay. So we're given challenges for the reason to cleanse us, and these challenges is part of this initiation that's going on. And we got to use these challenges now as opportunities to learn. Because if you understand that you've been initiated, you're going to use it as opportunities to learn and to grow from that learning. We're not going to keep on doing the very same thing, because we're going to see it now. After a while, pay attention to ourselves, and we're going to see what the Father is trying to bring to us. Okay, so they've been brought to us to help us on the mission that we have on this planet, and to make you and I even stronger. So the Father is bringing that. There's nothing that is taking place in our lives that the Father doesn't have total control of. And He's bringing it to us for us to get stronger, and based upon the mission that is for us upon this planet. Now, some of us may be going in left field, and we need to be in right field. Well, He's going to get us there through spiritual means. And He's going to use people, many times, in the earth to get us from left field to right field. And it may be some things that may hurt us in an area that the personality feels hurt, or there's some pain, whatever the case is, but all of it is to move us to where we need to be initiated to get past this door that we've come to now and move on to the next level. It's all incremental, okay? So now let's go back a little bit now and remember what I said concerning to admit somebody into a membership, which what we're doing is getting into the family of Yahweh again, okay? The citizenship of heaven. This is what it is, because we have fallen from that. And we're falling into the valley of shadow of death, if you will, which is, this is what we're dealing with. Okay? A valley is low. Hill is high. The valley of shadow of death is your experience that you're going through right now. That's what David was talking about, but he didn't come out and say. He didn't say, wow, as you're walking through the earth here in Israel and in Palestine, whatever, you know, he wasn't saying that. He says, as I walk through the valley of shadow of death, whatever his experience is in the earth, I'm going to fear no evil. Why? Because I know that you're with me. We have to come to that point, and David wasn't there in one day. He came there because he was initiated incrementally, receiving certain knowledge and different experiences in his life as he went along, and he was opened up to the point that he was able to put a temple together. Okay? The Spirit of Yahweh brought that. Now, David wasn't what you would call a man who never made mistakes. And you can't feel bad about yourself because you make a mistake. We have to be willing to see it and see that it's dirt and be willing to cleanse it. Okay? Remember, David had some issues there. He took another man's wife, killed a man, or, initially, really that's what he did. Okay? And some problems came into his life. This was to help David to learn and grow from that. But still, Yahweh gave him the plans of the temple and restored his kingdom after he went through his trials, the fire, which he had to go through. Now remember now, when you initiated or admitted, part of this is as a membership or a position of authority, which the president gets, and we have to also get. And Moshe initiated the children of Israel into the citizenship of Israel through ceremonies. Now, what I want us to do is go to Philippians, our first scripture. Philippians chapter 3, and I want us to think in this manner. Okay? I want us to start thinking in this manner in which we're going to be speaking about today. Okay? And keep it right there in the forefront of the mind. Now, you may not see it every day. You definitely won't see it every day. But you and I have to start bringing this to the forefront of our minds to let it sink in. Who you are, what you're here to do, because this is part of the initiation that you receive to get past a certain door to get to the next one. Okay? Because you're not going to just open up and go right to the Father, because you're going to be, if he just opens everything up and lets you come, guess what? Ain't no one has seen the Father's face in this life right here. So some problems are going to be happening. Okay? If light is just to us right away, we're not going to get past it. Okay? Now, not in the flesh body you can't, but you can. Otherwise, you could get it while you're still living in the flesh, but not while you're in the flesh. Okay? So you could get it, even though you're walking here in 2022, you could get it, but not while you're walking around and your conscious body is moving around and all of a sudden you see it with your physical eyes. That way you can't see it. Okay? But it's open to you. Now, in Philippians chapter 3, we're going to read verse 20. Okay? So he says, okay, let's go to verse 19 real quick. It says, he's talking about these guys who are going to come to destruction, and the destruction that they're going to come to, guys, is not, when we function as earthly individuals and act with earthly intentions, this is already destruction. Okay? It's already destruction. Because we can't get out of what we're functioning in. We're just going to stay there. Okay? So, destruction is not talking about you and I dying or anything like that, because we're going to go anyway. The physical body is going to go. It can't inherit heaven and earth. So the destruction is the experience that you and I are having in the valley of shadow of death and can't get out of it. That's all it is. Okay? It's what they call perishing. perishing is not dying, or Yahshua would have perished. But Yahshua says, remember he said, you think these guys over there were any more evil than these other guys? You know, when I think it was Herod sacrificed and mingled their blood with some other folks, whatever, for their gods. He said these guys were no more evil than anybody else. No. He said, but so you do not perish. You do these things right here that I'm telling you to do, and you won't perish. So we think it's okay. They perished because they got put to the sword and they got and all those things and they died. That's not it. Moshe told you the same thing. Yahweh told Moshe, teach the children of Israel these things right here, so they do not die in their sins. Because when we die in our sins, that's perishing. Okay? If we wake up and we don't die in it, that's not perishing. So Yahshua didn't perish. He didn't die in his sins. Remember, he told somebody, he said, hey, you're going to be with me in paradise here this day. Okay? That's a difference. So we go a little further here. He says, so these guys' destruction, playing in the field of the earthly wisdom and doing things for this life, whose God is their belly, their own will, let thy will be done, okay? Who glory in the shame, who set their minds on earthly things, okay? But you and I are not like that. He said, but our citizenship is in heaven. This is the initiation that you and I are coming to admit someone into the membership of citizenship, okay, of a certain organization, or to give them a certain authority. This is what this is all about. Okay? So to get it, first of all, we can't do what these other guys are doing. We have to lift ourselves up from the passions and desires that is in this realm, the valley, a shadow of death, because it's attached to us. Okay? It attaches to us. And it causes us to want to protect the personality from all cleansing. So that's what you call defending yourself. Someone comes and gives us a truth, we get offended. Okay? But it's that other part of us, guys, the personality part of us, that is caught up with ego, that doesn't want to be cleansed. So we attack the person who comes with the stuff to cleanse us, because we want to stay in darkness. We want to stay with the dirt all around us. Okay? Parents told us to go to the shower, we go wash our hands. We don't want to get into the shower. So we get offended. We want to attack everybody who's showing us that we didn't take a shower. So here it is now. Okay. So he says, so your citizenship is in heaven, out from which we also eagerly wait for our ruler, Messiah, the King, who will change our bodies of humiliation, that it may be fashioned like his glorious body, according to the exertion of that power which enables him. Now he's telling you now there's a power that enabled him to do certain things. This is a power that he received that enabled him to subdue all things under himself. He had this before he fell. Okay? He received the initiation of a son to bring him back, that he could bring all things back under himself. All authority, he says, has been given to me in heaven and earth. Well, this wasn't something new, because he fell from that. You, as children of the Most High, also fell from that. And your job and my job is to come back. But we're not going to go back without being initiated into the different levels incrementally, because we can't just open up and get there. you have one who is guarding the way back to the garden. Okay? And that's the ultimate door. And that's not even the ultimate door to get totally back to where you came from. That's only to get back to the level that you fell from. That's all right, but that's the ultimate door to get back to where you and I fell from. We came and we were functioning, Adam and Eve, if you will, quote unquote, and something took place and Adam and Eve fell. But they came in to do a work, remember? To replenish the earth, okay, and to bring forth all the right things in the earth. That's what they came to do, to guide it in the right place. And they fell from that. Well, the job is still it still needs to be done. So how is it going to be done? They are going to be redeemed back to where they fell from, continue that job, okay? Then get the other part of their brothers out, okay? And then the last part of their brothers out. This is all in what Moshe wrote in the law, Genesis, as Ham, Shem, and Japheth. It's all in those guys right there. 3 different divisions, okay? One is going to be the ruler, another one is going to live in his house, and the other one is going to be a servant to the one who is serving in his brother's house. 3 of them. It's all coming, it all has to take place. But everybody's going to go back. All Israel is going to be saved. So if you're noticing what it's saying right here now, guys, Yahshua received something. It's not something that you and I can't receive. As a matter of fact, we had it before. We had it once. And listen, it enables us to subdue all things under ourselves. Now, let's go over to Proverbs. Okay, Proverbs. We looked at this last night. And we talked about it a little bit. But Proverbs chapter 16. Okay? So now this is actually talking about the same thing that we're looking at with Yahshua here. Bringing all things under the authority of himself. In verse 32 it says, "He who is slow to anger is better than a warrior." Now look at this one here. "He who rules his spirit." This is the same one that actually subjects all things under himself. This is the same one. Because he's ruling his spirit. You know what his spirit is, guys? His spirit is that which the Father has put within him to exercise the Father in the earth. He has received the power again to exercise the Father in the earth in fullness. And that's what happened with Yahshua. All authority has been given to him because he is a son of the Father, and everything in the Father's possession belongs to the Son. So he once again had that power. He rules his own spirit. Okay? So he says, "He who rules his spirit is better than he who captures a city." Why? He has all authority has been given to him, and he is back into the citizenship of heaven. Okay? He's back into the citizenship of heaven, and if he's there, guess, as a son of the king, guess what he has authority to do? In the world of spirit. He has the authority to tell this one to go and this one to come, because all authority is under him. And all those spirits are part of what he moves, because he has authority over them. He's been inaugurated into it. His father did that, not through the laws of Moshe, but through the natural laws of him going and taking a shower when his father told him to take a shower. Cleansing himself. It's an automatic thing. Okay? Cleansing yourself, your father brings you to the next level, but even though you're on the right path, it doesn't mean that he's not going to try you, because that's how you get from one door or one opening to the next. That's how we do it, from one opening to the next. Now, something we have to keep in mind here Okay? Let's go over to Hebrews, really. Hebrews chapter 5. So the Father is still going to, Hebrews chapter 12, I'm sorry. He's still going to try us, okay, because we need to be cleansed. Chapter 12. Let's look at verse 5. Okay. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 5. And you have forgotten the exhortation which speaks to you as unto sons. My son, do not despise the chastening of Yahweh, because He's taken you through the door. He's giving you what you need to get past this doorway. And be discouraged when you are rebuked by Him. This word rebuked simply means corrected. That's all it is. Corrected. He's correcting you and I so we could be informed to get past that guy with the flaming sword. Okay. For whom Yahweh loves, He chastens. This is disciplining you and I. And scourges every son whom He receives. To receive us, though, we have to get back through that guy with the sword. This going through that guy with the sword is all that the chastening and scourging is all about. And when you get back to the garden, you're in the presence of Yahweh again. And this is considered Him receiving you. Back to doing the job, because now you're opened again to receive the instructions. And He's going to instruct you and I, because now we can receive it, and we will do as He is dictating to us. Because that's what the family is all about. No, he told Moshe this. He told Moshe, he said, make sure that everybody don't go about doing whatever is right in their own eyes, because they can't function as a unit in that manner. And the citizenship of heaven is functioning as a unit. That's why I could tell that guy to go over there and he does it, tell this one to come here and he does it, because we're functioning as a unit. I don't tell this guy to go over there, he goes, I don't feel like it. No, that guy can't come past, he can't come in my presence. He's going to mess it up. We got to learn how to function as a unit. This is paramount. Okay, so here we go now. If you endure this chastening, if we don't get all tired of that, okay, I'm quit, I'm done, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't want to get past this guy with a sword. It burnt me last time. Okay. Yahweh deals with you as with sons. You get back into the sonship. We get back as sons if we endure it. But it's going to come. It's going to come. Okay? But if we do the right thing, then we're going to display the Father, express the Father. Okay, so here we go. For what son is there whom a father does not chasten? Discipline. Discipline. You see the children today, guys, they don't have discipline. And those who are running our government don't want us to discipline our children. Now, you ain't got to beat your child down to discipline them. But you got to keep them in an area where you're consistent and that they know this is the line right here. We're not going to cross this line. And if that child rebels, yes, well, he may need to get spanked or she may need to get spanked. But that should be the last resort, really. But if rebellion brings forth more pain. Okay? Today, you can't touch that child or they want to take you in for child abuse. That's what they want to do. The learning system that they have is all about giving the children their choices. It's not telling them, it's not directed in the way that they should go. It's about giving them choices so they could select which way they want to go. You want to be a girl today? Be a girl, son. You want to be a boy today? Be a boy, my daughter. They could choose. And then you pat their heads up with the TV and in school, and you never know what you get out of it after that. It'd be a miracle if they come out in the right place. Okay. So if you endure chastening, Yahweh is going to deal with you as with sons, builders of the family name. builders of the family's reputation, the family's nature. This is what you're going to have. Okay, so in verse 8 now. But if you are without chastening, of which all are partakers, you see that? All. Then you are bastards. You don't have a father, and not that father, and not sons. But notice what he says, all are partakers of it. Okay, if we're going the wrong direction, yeah, guess some chastening's going to come. And if we're already on the path, guess what? Hey, the pressures come because it's part of the initiation. Look down to verse 11. Now, this is what we got to endure. It says, now no chastening seemed to be joyful at the present time while you and I are going through it. No, none of it seems that way. Because we're getting beat up, bashed over here, all that stuff. But grievous. It seems grievous. But it's trying to bring forth a fruit in you. Okay? Nevertheless, after all the grieving is gone, after you go through getting beat up and thrown around, it produces, notice what? The chastening produces. So why does your father chasten you? Because he's going to bring you into peace. Peace. But while he's bringing you into peace, there's grievance. There's grievance that's going on in your spirit. You don't know what to do. You have all kind of issues coming at you, but he wants you to trust him. So he's bringing you in the air. He's bringing you down there. But grievous, nevertheless, afterwards it produces a peaceful fruit of righteousness. Notice for who, though? For those who have been trained by it. Trained by it. To receive that power, to receive that authority. For those who are trained by it. Now, let's go over here now and look at Matthew chapter 5. So it brings this peaceable fruit. So, and who are going to get it? Those who are trained by it. Now you need it. Go to Matthew chapter 5. I told you Yahshua spoke this right here. Matthew chapter 5. Okay. Matthew chapter 5, and we're going to look at verse 9. Okay? Blessed are the pure, verse 8, verse 9, I'm sorry. Blessed are the peacemakers. It's going to bring forth the fruit of peace. Okay? So if it's bringing forth the fruit of peace, guess what? Those who have the fruit of peace within themselves, guess what they express? If you have a fruit and it's orange, guess what you have to give? You're not going to give bacon if you have orange. If you have orange, you're going to give orange. So whatever fruit you have that's peaceable, that's what you're going to get. So he says, blessed are the peacemakers. Notice this now, guys, for they're the ones who are going to be called the sons of Yahweh. They're the ones who are going to get past the door. And it's all in the matter of initiation. They're the ones who are getting there. But they get there through going through much grievance. Through much tribulation, they're going to get that crown. Through much tribulation. Now, what we have to realize now is who we are in this. This is very, very important. We got to realize who we are. Because you have a father here who says the earth is his. If the earth is his, and you are not your own, but you're his, well, what does it make the earth? Does it make it yours too? Well, this may be something like, oh man, that's too big, because we have all these guys, they won't make us do that. Well, you have to believe that you're the son, and that you are free from these guys. Even though they're going to be locking you up and all these things, you got to start moving this in your mind, because we already spoke about it. As you're moving this in your mind and you're believing this, you begin to create the reality of it. It doesn't have to happen in one day. As a matter of fact, it may take more than 3.5 years, or just around there or more. But you are bringing this into focus. And as you stay and go in and take the shower that your father told you to take and not just wash your hands, it comes together in a more prominent manner and it solidifies itself in a better manner. This way you don't have to keep on going back and correcting the very same thing. Well, you didn't take a shower, son. You only washed your hands. Go back in there and get your hair wet and get the soap out. You got to go back because you keep washing the hand. Go back because you put it on the elbow this time to try to fool daddy. And go back because you put it in the kneecap this time. It's not going to happen until we take the shower. So we got to stop playing games. So the whole earth is Yahweh. If you look at Exodus 19:5, it's telling you that. Okay? Everything under heaven is mine, he says. So for you to receive all the power unto yourself and to express it, something has to change. It's very, very powerful. You and I have to know this. And I'm going to show you today the supreme law of redemption. Okay? Now, you may not do anything with it, but you ought to. You ought to. So Yahweh is the supreme authority in heaven. You are a son. He lives in you. You express him. You're part of him. Okay? And in the manner in which we speak, at least. So now, the supreme law of redemption. Let's go to Leviticus. Moshe set this up. And you and I have to know that this is a pattern and we need to get the truth. Okay. So the supreme law of redemption is in Leviticus chapter 25. And look at verse 23. We're going to start at verse 23, excuse me. Okay, it says, the land must not be sold permanently because it is mine. Everything is mine. And you are just nothing but strangers and foreigners on this land with me. You are nothing but tenants. Okay. Throughout the country that you hold as a possession, you must provide for the redemption of the land. You must provide for the redemption of this land. If one of your brothers become poor and has sold some of his possession, his nearest kinsman is to come and redeem what his brother has sold. Now your nearest kinsman is the only begotten son, or Yahshua, who had the only begotten son to show you and I how to get out of this. And it has been done. Well, what are we doing about it? We're just going to stay stuck then. Okay. Let's look at verse 26, guys. So he gives you the power now to get it if you and I are going to go in and wash, shower, and take a bath, okay, or take a shower. We're going to get the same power. It's not going to all come all at once, boom, but it's going to come incrementally because it's actually you have to go through the initiating process and then start to receive the power and start exercising the power. You have to exercise it. Okay, so look at this now. In verse 26, if, however, a man has no one to redeem it for him, but he himself becomes financially able to redeem it. Now, Yahweh is not talking about your finances. No, give to Caesar what's Caesar's because that's Caesar's. No, the finances that you have are treasures in heaven. what you receive within you, that the power of Yahweh has put there to give you wisdom, understanding, and knowledge of how to exercise your spirit, to have control over your spirit. The man who could manage or control his spirit, he's better than, he could handle all the city. For you to have. This is what you're going to have. This is what Yahshua received. The fullness of it. Now you don't have it. You know why you don't have it? Because Yahweh already told you, you have a little strength. A little strength. It's what you and I have. Because we're still stuck here. But nevertheless, you can exercise it. It all doesn't come through just like that. Because when you do, powers come against you. And your Father is not going to take them from you, because it's part of the grievance that He's going to bring you through to let you trust in the power that you have within yourself when it finally starts bringing forth the fruits that He put there. When it finally starts bringing forth the fruit that He put there for you, and you are expressing Him without fear of any valley or shadow of death, you know your Father is directing. You know He is in you. You know you're in Him. And you know nothing is going to defeat you, whether you live or die. That's the power of the Father that's there. Okay. Okay, so if he becomes, if he gets what it takes to get it back, he can redeem it. Then, verse 27. Then let him count the years since its sale, and restore the bonds to the man to whom he sold it, that he may return to his possession. Now let's look here at verse 29. Verse 28. So verse 28 now, guys. But if he is not able to restore it to himself, then what he has sold remains in the hand of him who brought it until the year of Jubilee. The year of Jubilee. Then in the Jubilee it shall be released, and he shall return to his possession in the year of Jubilee. Now guys, the last year of Jubilee that we had, okay, was in September 23rd, 2015. Okay? There's some things that took place around here, but I'm not going to get into it. But also, that was the year that the United Nations says was the year of light. They said it was the year of light. On the very same year, there's a book that was put out by Light. Simply Light. Okay? Now, there are other things that's been happening, but we're not going to get into those things. But that was the last Jubilee that we had. And the kingdom of heaven and earth was put together. Nobody knows it. It's a mustard seed. Nobody knows anything about it. But I'm going to show you guys today the law of redemption to get back what is your possession. Because your possession is not your flesh and blood. Your possession is your Father in you. And your Father doesn't bring that to you just like that. He does it through stages, initiation. And you have to go through all the grievance periods to deal with it, to get it. So everything returns to its possession. Now what I want y'all to look at, you ain't got to look at it today, but if you got a Strong's Concordance, okay, the word land, okay, as if the land can't be sold, okay, what's, if you got the word land, and you look at the word 776 in the Strong's Concordance, it's translated from the Hebrew word E-R-E-T-S. I call it eretz. Okay? And besides land, it means property. It means dust. It means earth. It means ground. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2. So it means property, dust, earth, the ground. Well, everything has to return to its property, but you have sold yourself. You have sold yourself, I have sold myself, and some of us are taking it back. Some of us need to take it back. Some of us will later on come in the line that we take it back. In Genesis chapter 2, look at verse 7. And Yahweh formed man. Now, man is not who you are. Man is a creation that you have come into. Mind, body, and spirit. This is man. Without mind, body, and spirit, man doesn't exist. Okay? So Yahweh formed man from the dust of his property. Erects off the ground, and breathed in his nostril the breath of life, the nefesh, his spirit. His spirit is now in that man. And man became someone who started experiencing life in the lower planetary area right here on the physical world. That's why it says man became a living being, because that's this living being that he's going through right now, or that he has become at this point of Genesis chapter 2, is he starts to experience in life in a semi-physical mode in the earth, looking like you and I, okay, being able to touch things like you and I, but he's not totally down yet as the way we are right now, because he hasn't fallen yet. He hasn't fallen yet. The reason why this is showing you 6,000 years from Adam to wherever is not showing you from where Adam, from this point right here where man became a living being. It's showing you 6,000 years from when Adam fell. Not from when he started experiencing everything. That's hundreds of thousands of years that Adam was doing his thing. But from when he fell, there is a law of redemption that tells you 6 days he's going to do this. On the 7th day he's going to do this. But in it, there's a preparation day that he's going to have, which is the day before the Sabbath, and where things start to become prepared. And so there's going to be a lot of issues in the earth anyway that's going to bring trouble or tribulation or bring the grievance upon everybody anyway, the whole planet, it says, to bring him to the time of rest, that he rests from everything else. And the reason why he's going to rest, guys, because he's going to return to his possession. He's going to return to his possession. If you claim your possession. Your possession is not your flesh. Your possession is the power in you. There's the power in us, guys, that we have walked away from. We did this by our own choice. That's the power. It's there. It's just dormant. Because we have covered it with a lot of trash. But it's there. So Yahweh breathed the breath of life into man. Man became a living being. Now let's go over to Colossians, really. Colossians chapter 1. So we have to get from under this trash, guys. Because while we're under this, we are blind. It's darkness. That's all it is. Darkness. Now, we don't have to come from under it, but if we want to become the sons that's redeemed, then we're going to know. Colossians chapter 26. Notice this now. So he breathed the breath of life into man. Man became a living being, right? So that's his spirit that's in there. His spirit. Colossians chapter 1, look at verse 26. It says, the great secret which has been hidden from ages and from generations, but now has been revealed to his saints. It's not even going to be revealed to everybody, guys. Only the ones who are going to have the express understanding and the ability that's going to be given in them and the opportunity. But they don't even have to go in, and they all won't, because some are not going to endure. So notice now to the saints, okay, to whom Yahweh willed to make this known. That was his will to make this known. And the riches of the glory of his great secret amongst the Gentiles. Notice what the secret is, guys. It's Messiah in you. Messiah is the only begotten Son. The same Spirit that came into Yahshua while he was being baptized said, "This is my only begotten Son in whom I'm well pleased." We have been taught that it's Yahshua all along. Yahshua is your brother. He was the general that came in here with us to direct us to something. He fell just like we did as Adam, and we fell too. And we became disconnected from this Messiah Spirit that's in us and remained in us, just dormant based upon the trash that we have allowed to come over us. We did it. So notice now, this is Messiah, okay, in you. That is your hope and your glory. Messiah in you. The only begotten Son that you and I, in order to have moving through, we need to wash ourselves. Take the shower. Take the shower. Don't let man come and tell you to do something else than what your Father said. Do what he says. And yes, difficulties are going to come in your life. Stay the course. Now let's go over to Corinthians, guys. 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 19. He says here now, guys, notice here now, remember, he breathed the breath of life into man. Man became a living being, right? Whose spirit? His spirit. He removes his spirit. Guess what happens? The flesh is gone. You got to go back home. And all the experience that you're dealing with here is gone. It's over. He calls it back. He calls you back. It says in verse 19, "Do you not know that your body is the sanctuary or the temple of the Spirit that he put in you?" The Holy Spirit in you that he put in you, which you have from Yahweh, right then, Genesis 2:7, we're just going to read it. He put it there. And you can remove it. You and I have to express our Father. He put that there for you and I to express him. We fell, and we fell from that expression. We have to go back to that. Okay? And of those who are going to be redeemed from among men, trust me, they're going to go back to expressing their Father. And they're going to proclaim and declare that they are holy to him, and they can't follow the foolishness going on in here. That's just what's in their spirit. That's just what's there. They can't do anything else. They're going to go and get beat up, tossed around, kicked in the bottom. That's what's going to happen. At the end of that, however, the fruits of it comes to life. The hope and the glory comes to life. Okay, so here goes now, guys. So, you have this from Yahweh. Notice what it says, "And you are not your own." We are not our own. Therefore, man is the property of the Creator, not the property of any other man. We got to get that. And nobody else has right or claims over your flesh. Now, they're not going to believe that. And that's where you got to go through all the beat up and kickings, hangings, whatever, because you may not get through. They don't believe that. They believe that, hey, we set this up together, okay, and you're going to do what we say. Okay? You're not another man's property or any man's fictitious creation. No. All of those things are lesser claims to the Supreme Creator. And the Supreme Creator says, you belong to me. Now, this is a body that has been given to you guys, and the Spirit has come into it. It's a body. He gave it to you for you to manage. When the founding fathers put together the Declaration of Independence, you go and read it, because they tell you in that if you don't give your consent, you don't belong to these folks. And they said if you gave your consent, this is not the words that they're using, but go and read it. If you had given your consent and you said, no, I don't want to, they said the right thing to do, because the fathers were sent here too. They might have been Masons, but that's not a big deal. Okay? There may be Freemasons, most of the fathers, the founding fathers. No. It doesn't mean that, no, they're bad. No, there are certain ones of the Masons, the Freemasons are bad, but those were our brothers who were set before us to set the stage. They came before us like Yachanan the Mercer came before Yahshua. And amongst us, there has to be someone or someones who come up and use those very things. Because they told you, if you don't want to be a part of it, the right thing for you to do is to declare it to everybody. Well, your father told you the same thing. So you return to your property. What is your property? It's not your flesh. It's not your flesh. We gave it up, guys. We sold our property. We sold it. When we squandered everything, the prodigal son said, the parable of the prodigal son said, he came down, and after he had squandered everything, nobody was looking out for him. Well, look at yourselves. I got to look at myself in the same way, because we squandered our inheritance. We squandered our property. And it's not our flesh.